Feeling isolated, misunderstood, or like you don't fit into your old life anymore, you may be having a spiritual awakening. In this video, we're going to break down what a spiritual awakening is and all of the things that you may experience during a spiritual awakening. Hi, I'm Heather. I've been in my spiritual journey for over a decade, and I help people navigate their awakening process. So, what exactly is awakening? So I would define awakening as a remembering of who you are, your own inner divinity, that you are a co-creator of God, that you are a divine spark of energy, and that you are a part of Source. So when we came to Earth with a veil of amnesia. So this is when we forget who we are, why we're here, why we incarnated here on Earth. So a lot of us came in with a plan that we would have some sort of catalyzing event that would trigger us to wake up. So this could be something in our life that disrupts us. So maybe it's a job loss, or it could be a breakup, or a health scare, or it could even be meeting somebody that is already awake that helps trigger us into our own awakening. But it doesn't have to be a specific event. It can just be this kind of feeling that we feel that something is off or something is not right, but you just can't quite put your finger on it. But you can just start to be on your journey. So, I'm going to talk through some of the signs that you can expect on your awakening. So, some of the general signs are you may start to question your life's purpose. You may start to feel disconnected from those around you. Maybe you feel like you don't enjoy people's company anymore. Or you could start to feel like you just want to be by yourself, to be alone. Maybe you feel a little reclusive. You may start to have odd sleeping patterns. Maybe you start to wake up in the middle of the night and you can't go back to sleep. You may start to become sensitive to certain foods. Or you also may just start being interested in eating more healthy foods in general, or changing your diet. You can also develop an interest in esoteric topics. You may start to question your line of work. You may develop a lack of interest in mainstream news, any type of sports or current events. They may seem just disinterested to you anymore. You also may start to experience vivid dreams. One other thing you may start to experience is sensitivity to loud noises or sounds, or sensitivity to anything violent or negative. Some of you may start to experience supernatural events or start to open up your psychic abilities, such as having greater intuition, or maybe some of your clairs start to open up. You start having where you're seeing more things, maybe something out of the corner of your eye, or you maybe start to hear things. You may start to have out-of-body experiences. Or you also just may want to start to contribute something and do something more meaningful in life. A lot of people start to want to spend more time outside, connecting with the earth or nature. A lot of people start to get interested in alternative healing, such as going to sound baths, learning about breath work, doing yoga, or just, being more involved in the healing world in general. And one of the biggest signs that a lot of people you've probably heard talk about start seeing the numbers 1111, or you can also see any of the sacred numbers like 333, 222, 555, etc. A lot of people also start to experience increased synchronicities. Some of the physical symptoms that people may start to experience is a flu-like illness. You can also experience nausea, feeling ungrounded, floaty, or dizzy. Those are some of the symptoms that I still experience quite a lot of. You can also start to experience visual anomalies, such as seeing lights, flashes of lights, seeing things out of the corner of your eye, or hearing high-pitched sounds. One other thing that I started to experience, which I think is kind of odd, is it's kind of this leaky ear syndrome. It kind of feels like your ears are always kind of tickly. And then also feeling drained around other people and that's a common energy issue, especially with empaths. Some of the emotional symptoms are becoming more emotionally sensitive to everything. I remember one of the first signs that I knew something was off was I was scrolling on Pinterest and I saw a picture of a beautiful pink tourmaline crystal, and I remember crying, thinking it was so beautiful. So I knew something's off when I'm sitting here crying looking at a picture of a crystal. You can also have bouts of emotion that come out of nowhere, like crying or sadness. I remember waking up in the middle of the night crying, and I had no idea what I was crying about. Increased anxiety is another one. A lot of that is because people are ungrounded, and so they've not learned yet to manage their energy. So that can feel like anxiety. Loneliness is a really big emotional symptom you might experience. And then becoming more sensitive to energy in general. And I can do a whole video on that topic because that's a big topic. And then also, you may just not be able to be around certain people anymore. You know, if you hear people complain or gossip or topics that you're not interested in, you have no interest in whatsoever. So those are a few of the things that you may start to experience as you wake up. But I wanted to just reflect that one of the things that I felt that was most significant to me was I just felt different inside, and I felt like no one else around me could tell that something had changed within me, but something had changed within me, and I couldn't quite say what it was. And so it was hard to kind of go on through life because you're around other people and they're treating you like they always have, and you're interacting with them, but you feel different. And so for me, I really started to feel like I was more an observer in my own life. So one of the things that you start to do is you start to question who you really are, what is true and what is not true, and what aligns with this new you. And I will just say that this process is not for the faint of heart. It is not easy. I remember a lot of times feeling I wish I could have kind of just stayed asleep because it is difficult. Because one of the biggest things that happens during this process is that you start to have and start to focus more on your own self-awareness. You start looking both inward and outward, and it's like everything in your life comes up for review. Is this real? Is this true? And if so, is it true for me? And this can pertain to all areas of your life: how you live, your lifestyle, your career, your health, your partner, your friends, all of it. And so that's what can make things so difficult, because once the veil falls, then you start to look around and you just ask yourself, is any of this really me anymore? And so a lot of this process does include spending more time alone. You end up researching a bunch of topics and you start learning new things. But what happens is when you end up spending more time alone, and you've also kind of disconnected from things that you used to, have more attention or hold more weight in your life, that kind of frees up your bandwidth so that you can start looking at yourself internally. And that process is not easy. So a lot of people end up going to see therapists during this process, and a lot of people start seeking out alternative, types of healing. People may start getting more involved in meditation or journaling or doing yoga or other things like that. So many people start becoming more in tune with the concept of mind, body, soul awareness, and they start living a more holistic life. So, do any of these signs resonate with you? If so, let me know in the comments. I think one of the things that is so difficult on this process is that a lot of people feel like they're alone and they're isolated, but you are not alone. A lot of us are going through this process, and I will say that there's no destination. It's a journey. It's a journey that you will be on for the rest of your life. But once you wake up and you kind of start down that path, then you just kind of go whichever way you feel resonates with you. And that can include a lot of upheaval in all areas of your life. So if any of that sounds like something you're interested in learning more about, make sure to subscribe to this channel, because I will be going into a lot of those different topics And also, if you look in the description, I will have awakening guides, and you can also book a coaching session with me if that resonates. So this is just the end of this video, and I do encourage you to, hold on to everything and just know that everything's going to be okay. I have been there. I've been on this journey for 10 years, and I know it can be a difficult process, but you're not alone. So just remember that. All right, thanks.